Hello there and welcome to ROKiT Venturi Racing. We're really pleased that you can join us live for the build-up to the final race of Season 6 and, of course, to meet some of the team. Berlin has been home for the last 2 weeks. We've seen 5 races so far and we're all set for the 6th and final race of 2020. And despite the hard work and effort, we've seen mixed results so far. But in saying that, the resolve, enthusiasm from everyone at ROKiT Venturi Racing is, of course, second to none. So for those of you joining us who have not been to an event, welcome on board. We'd also like to hear from you if we could. So at the bottom of the screen here on the YouTube link, you'll see a comment section. So if you've got any questions that you would like to ask for Susie, Edo and Felipe, then please just send us through some questions because we'll be talking to them very, very soon. So let's start off. We'll head over to the garage and speak to team manager Delphine Biscay, who's waiting to join me. Delphine, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you. We're ready, getting ready.
You're all ready. What's the mood in the camp tonight?
Tired, but we really want to give as much as we can for the last one. We're preparing the car right now to be ready for the race. So the mood is focus and tired.
That's to be expected. It's been a long couple of weeks, but you know, everyone's really focused, aren't they, on this last event and giving it as much as they can.
Yes, as you could see in qualifying, we really pushed harder. We managed to get Edo in Super Pole, so we are very pleased with that. And we start with a quite good qualifying, so hopefully we'll be at the front and stay at the front. So we are really pushing till the end, trying to make the most of it and make the most of this race and this event.
Yeah. Delphine, earlier on, you very kindly were able to give us a tour of the garage. So we're just going to take a look at that and then I'll come back and have a chat with you after we've seen that. But we had a really good look around the garage, courtesy of yourself, walking around earlier on.
Hello, I'm Delphine Biscay, team manager for ROKiT Venturi Racing, and you are here in Berlin Tempelhof for season finale. I'm going to show you our garage. So here we are. Here is the engineering pit stand. That's where the engineers will follow the race and all the sessions. They will be close to the cars, all on intercoms with the headset and the microphones to talk to the drivers who are in the car and to the rest of the team. Here is the car of Edoardo Mortara. You can see now the mechanics are finishing the setup for the next session. And on this side is the car of Felipe Massa. They're also finishing the setup. So we're getting ready for our next session, and I will show you now the back of the garage. So here we are just at the back of the cars. We've got our tires, that's where we prepare them, we do the pressure. We need to keep them visible at all time for the FIA, so that's where they are. And here you can see all the engineers, they're right now in meetings. They're preparing for next session and today's race, which is our race 7 of the season. So you can see how we set up. We've got lots of desks and computers and intercoms as well. They're all in meetings together. And now I'll show you the driver corners. Here we are in the driver corner. So it's right behind their car. So the mechanics are there, the driver comes in and they can change just before the sessions. So here we are on Felipe Massa's side. You can see his helmet prepared to go for next session. You've got all his underneath clothes, the gloves. You've got the balaclava with the microphone. They've got water. They've got things to put on the grid to keep them cool. They've got an extra helmet, lots of extra underwears and driver suits. And that's the driver suit he will use for today, at least for this morning, maybe for the race. So as you can see, it's all ready. We're just waiting for Felipe to finish the meeting. And then he will just jump in the suit and then in the car.
That was great. Delphine, obviously, we had a fantastic look around the garage there. Can I just ask you, obviously, you know, from a team perspective, when you arrive at an event, how long does it take to set up the garage? Because they always look superb. We've obviously got to have your branding in place, but it's such an effort, isn't it, from everyone to build that? How long does it take?
Yeah, it takes about 2-3 hours to set up the walling behind me. So we put all the wallings, then the mechanics start to work on the cars. So they take the cars out of the boxes and they start to work on it and prepare for the setup, take the bodyworks out and prepare everything. But in the meantime, we still continue to make the build-up at the rear. So we're setting up the engineer's table. All the network takes very long time. the gantry above the cars. As you can see, we've got all the electricity going in to charge the car, to cool the car. So that takes a long time. So all together, it takes about 1 day. And sometimes we need to finish the next morning. So it's quite long. But the good point is to unbuild. It takes only 3 to 4 hours. So it's good for us. We leave quicker than we set up.
I'm sure you have a bit of a process, don't you? So on the build up and the set down, there's quite a process for packing everything away, which I think is that crucial?
Yeah. Everyone is responsible for a box and is responsible for part of the equipment. So everyone knows what it has to do when we build up and when we set down. And after the years, every year we try to improve. And so we are making new boxes, new fly cases. We are trying to find solutions to make it even more efficient and more quicker to set up and set down. So it's a long process.
What's the biggest challenge when you're putting all that together in the garage? Especially when you've got a tight area, a small space.
Yeah, it's very tight. Some places here, it's okay because we've got some place at the back. But so it's nice, it's fine. But like, for example, when you're in Paris, you've got the sidewalk as well. So the space for the cars is very tight, and behind you only have the sidewalk to put the engine stable or big boxes with all the store, like we call it the magasin, where you've got all your spare parts is at the back. So it's very, very tight. Sometimes even you've got a lamppost inside the garage. So you need to compose with all of this, and every location is different. So when you arrive at a track, even if you've got some indication before arriving, it's always discovery. Like you arrive, it's an adventure. You know what you have, but you don't know how it will fit in. So it's always fun.
So I guess you're aiming to have the same look and feel at every event.
Yeah. We are. It's always. It's not easy when you arrive somewhere and you need to start from zero. You just have the tent and you need to build all of this. So it's not easy, but it's when you're set up, it's nice because you feel home. We're always the same space. We know where we are. Everyone has his corner, his space for his stuff, his computer. Always the same seats. So you really feel home after, especially here after 2 weeks. We're not ready to pack yet.
And also looking at the setup for the engineers and receiving all the information that you need to get so that everyone can look at the logistics and the telemetry and everything else that's involved. How key is it to make sure that is all in place at the same time and make sure it's working?
Yeah, for this, we are very lucky to have HP on board with us, our partner. And they are making such a great work, especially today, I think, for this event, but for all the time. Like, they help us with the data transfer. We've got a new data center in Monaco where we store all our data from the race, and everything is transferred from the track to the factory to save it. And so we are able to work on it when we are back. And even here, they are setting up the network for us, the Wi-Fi, and all of this that we really need to work really. So it's very important for us. And it's one of the most complex area because we are mechanical engineers or mechanics. We know the cars, we know how to run the cars, but we are not specialists in IT. So it's very important to have specialists to help us on this side as well.
We definitely need IT people in our lives, that's for sure. Delphine, what's the sort of process now? I know we've got the final race in about an hour's time, I think it is. What's the process now with regards to the systems and what everyone has to do in these last minute moments of preparation?
So right now we are finishing the setups of the car. So the cars, I don't know if you can see, the cars are on the platform. So we are making the setup like the camber and adjusting the weights and everything, the balance of the car. At the same time, I've got systems engineers just in front of me on the side here. They are making the calibrations for the car. So they are putting the strategy in the car, really. So everything they've defined with the engineers at the back, they're now putting it in the cars and in the controller of the car so that the driver can have the strategy they've just defined on his steering wheel, and he can change strategies along the race. So they are doing that now. And at the same time, the driver and the race engineer will do the strategy briefing just after us, really. So at 6, from 6 to 6:20, they will do the final briefing. 6:23, the pit lane open, cars go out. They will go to the grid, and then we've got the starting procedure from 6:53.
So the pressure's on now, isn't it? Those last few moments of countdown, which actually just go so fast, don't they?
Yeah, from the moment the cars are on the grid to the departure is really 30 minutes, but the last 10 minutes, we've got a countdown, and every minute something must happen. So at 10, you've got a first signal. At 8, you need to have the wheels on. At 5, you need to have the cooling off. At 3, you need to start the car. At 1, you need to evacuate, and then it's starting. So the final 10 minutes are very intense because we are all on the radios and just looking at the cars to take the start, and that's the worst or the most exciting, depending on how you take it.
Absolutely, Delphine. Well, then I'll let you get back to work. Thank you so much for chatting to us and for showing us around the garage. It was really lovely to speak to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
So we heard from Delphine there. So now let's meet a few more members of the team to give us a further technical insight from the garage.
Hi everybody, I'm Jules Chambon, performance engineer at Venturi ROKiT team. I will introduce you today the Season 6 car and explain you some important part of this category. So here you have the car of Edoardo Mortara, and on the other side the car of Felipe Massa, which are completely the same, just the setup inside the car to compensate a bit the driver and the size and the weight and everything. So first part, interesting on this car is that we are using some carbon brakes. The specificity of these brakes that they are working at very high temperature. So all the warm-up and everything is a very important part of the preparation for qualifications. What we can see also is that all the cars have the same bodywork package, so the same aerodynamic. All cars also have the same battery, so more powerful than the previous season, which allow us to do the complete race without any pit stop. So the battery is provided by McLaren, and all the teams use the same thing. So now we will talk about the tires. So all the teams also are using the same kind of tires. So as you can see, it's not slick tires, but like road tires to prove that even road tires can be quick. So we have just one different kind of compound which is used for wet and for dry races. The most important part, and also the most interesting, the powertrain. All the powertrain are free, so all from the rear of the chassis to the end of the chassis is free, so we can develop whatever we want and do the design whatever we want. So engine and rear suspension are free.
On this car we also have carbon bodyworks. As you can see behind me, that's the front clip, the nose of the car as we call it. We've got the engine cover just behind. Those bodyworks are all carbon fiber. They're all the same for all the cars. We all have the same package, all the teams. It's just the design changing. And we can't do much of aerodynamics on it. The only thing we can change is here, you see the small flaps? Those, we've got two different inclination of flaps. So we've got 115 degrees and 120 degrees. And we will change it and adapt in function and depending on the tracks and the layout, depending on the corners and what we are looking for, then we can adjust and change those flaps on the front wings, and that's the only aerodynamic modification we can do. Something else I can show you is in the gloves. So it's special. Felipe has two devices, biometric devices, that will take his pulse. In case of accident, then the medicals can check this signal and see what the shock has been on him and if he's right. So even at distance they can check his vital constants and see how he is. So every driver has it now, but Felipe has two. He's got one in the gloves. So this is the special little battery, and inside you have like a red signal. Normally you can probably see it, it's a bit hidden. So that says that everything is working fine, and both drivers have this. But what Felipe has in addition is special earpieces. So he's got those earpieces. They are on test for him. They are molded to his ears, but they also have some biometric device in it. So he's got another signal sent to the medicals if needed.
Hello, I'm Fabien Geoffroy, performance engineer for ROKiT Venturi Racing. I am basically in charge of energy management during the race. Because we are limited in terms of energy, we need to manage it in an efficient way, and we need to be careful as well with the battery temperature. That can be a limitation. So during the event, I am following all these parameters to predict the best efficient way to use the battery during the race. So during the race, we are following all these parameters as well with the help of the driver. So it gathers some information to compare with our prediction, and we can adapt if we are a bit different of what we expect.
Hi, I'm Michael Rossi from ROKiT Racing. I'm system engineer on the Massa cars, and every morning before to start I'm working with mechanics to be sure all cars are ready to start. So we prepare some calibrations, all sensors, and with that we be sure that the car will be fine on the day.
I'm Laurent Telacou, the race engineer from Edoardo Mortara. My role is to check the setup and do the changes on the chassis from session to session. Right now at the moment, so we are analyzing the data with Edo to prepare everything for the next session and try to improve the chassis and the car balance over the lap. That's the main item that we are doing now.
So I hope you enjoyed that insight into the technical aspects within the garage. And just to remind you all, if you've just joined us, that there is a comments section in the bottom of the link here on YouTube. So if there's any questions you want to ask Susie or Edo or Felipe, then please pop them into that box and we'll have a look. And whilst we're talking to them, we'll obviously ask them those questions. So joining me now, I'm very pleased to introduce Susie Wolf, team principal of ROKiT Venturi Racing. Susie, you've been waiting in the wings for us to come to you. And we're 5 races in to what has been a strange season. How challenging has that been?
Well, I can tell you, I'm standing here in the garage. It's nearly 6 in the evening, not far away, but it's still roasting hot. And as you can imagine, we've had half a season condensed into 9 days. So it's been an incredible challenge for everyone in the team. But on the other side, it was a challenge we were prepared for. We knew what awaited us. We knew it was going to be tough. And I have to say that this is a team that has great energy, and we've managed to get to this stage with no real issues. And I still see everyone looking as motivated as they did on the first day. So incredibly proud of the team.
They've worked incredibly hard, haven't they? Let me just ask you, if I could just go back to the start of Berlin very, very quickly. How crucial are the last few days before the cars actually run on track in terms of being able to hit the ground running for you as a team?
It's actually all the work that we do back at our HQ in Monaco in our simulator leading up to the event that are most important. Here, what's been a unique challenge is the fact that we've had 3 double headers back to back, so no time in between to prepare. So the team were around 4 weeks before we even came to Berlin. We're already busy preparing, honing down the energy management for each race, getting all the drivers prepared in the simulator. And not to underestimate, that's hours of work in a simulator, but that is where the foundation of the form of success in Formula E lies. So a lot of that was done back at the headquarters. Then obviously we arrived at Berlin, and the main priority here was execution. We had to make sure that we maximize all the opportunity, minimize the mistakes. And it hasn't been an easy week, I have to say. We've had the potential for a lot more than the points have showed, but we have showed that we've got the speed. So we're hoping now, after a fantastic qualifying from Edo in P6 and Felipe kind of in P11 midfield, that we can end on a high.
I mean, you've just got to keep moving forward, haven't you? I mean, you said, at the beginning after the first couple of races that you were lacking in pace, and obviously you've dealt with that. And how much have you had to change the strategy?
The brutality of sport is that there are 12 teams here, and there's only ever one winner on any given race day, and we all want to win. We are a hugely competitive group here, and we're not happy with P8. We want to be on the podium, and that's what we're fighting for. But unfortunately, we've struggled for pace here. We've certainly been able to rectify that. We were much closer today, but the problem is simply the lack of time between the races. If you have an issue, normally we would go back to our HQ and be able to dive into the data for 2 or 3 weeks and come up with a solution. But here, it's just been so fast-paced that we've done what we can, but ultimately, it hasn't sometimes been enough.
Susie, just before I ask you finally about the race this evening, you've committed to the FIA purpose-driven movement to showcase your commitment to equal opportunity and change through positive action. How important is that to you?
It's hugely important to me. And for us, it's not just about putting a sticker on a car. That's the easy part, or doing a social media post. For us, it's about action. It's about creating change. And of course, I'm very passionate about diversity because I've been a lone woman in a man's world for a lot of my career. But for me, it's about inspiring the next generation, and it's about making sure that you are making a difference. We have the Girls on Track program, which is fully supported by the FIA and also Formula E, and that's inspiring the next generation. So for us, that's hugely important. And we are the most diverse team in Formula E. We are 33% women in the team. So that's something which for me is integral to what Venturi is.
And what action is needed in your view?
Well, first of all, the goal is not simply to get more female racing drivers on the track. That seems to be the perception. For me, it's about making the whole sport more accessible, because in the end, we have got 24 drivers on the grid here in Berlin, but we've got over 1,000 people in the ecosystem that make this race happen. So it's about inspiring the next generation and making sure we increase the talent pool, that the best rise to the top, because regardless of gender, this is a performance-based environment. You've got to be good enough at what you do. And it's simply inspiring, showcasing role models, creating a bigger talent pool, and just watching the best rise to the top. And that's not something that's going to happen overnight. It takes long-term commitment and it takes momentum, but I think we're on a good way.
Susie, that's fantastic. And we wish you well with that. And also we wish you well for the final race of tonight. I'll leave you now and let you get back to work. We're going to catch up with both drivers in a few minutes' time. But for the moment, Susie, thanks very much for chatting to us.
Thank you very much, everybody. Keep your fingers crossed.
Great, that's Susie Wolf there chatting to us just ahead of the race. There was so much more that I could have asked her, but we're just running out a bit of time. Obviously, you've got to appreciate the team are getting ready for this final race. There's so many procedures to put in place and run through before they get there. But just a reminder to you, if you have just joined us, there's a comments box at the bottom of the link here on the YouTube channel. Please send us your questions, and if we can, we'll get them to Edo and to Felipe, and we'll be having a little chat with them a bit later on. We're just waiting on Edo to join us now. But as you said, you saw earlier from Delphine, we are sort of looking around the garage. There is that drivers that inevitably like to sort of go through and get their procedures and have a strategy and a structure. So if we've got times, you know, when it gets to so close to the race, you know, 10 minutes before the race, they really want to sort of get there. So I understand Edo is waiting for me now. That's great. That was perfect timing, I've got to say. Edoardo Mortara, how are you this evening?
Fine. I mean, things are okay. Looking forward for the race that will start like anytime soon now. Qualifying went actually pretty okay. So yeah, let's see how the race will go.
I mean, we've talked earlier, we talked with Susie. Obviously, there's been a number of challenges in Berlin, but obviously you've just got to keep moving forward, look at the data, talk to the engineers and work out where you can go next.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we're trying, you know, to analyze a little bit, you know, what happened like this morning and yesterday. And obviously we then, with these analysis, then we will hopefully make the right calls and the right changes for our car to go better. We hope that we will have a better race pace today than yesterday. Yesterday was quite difficult, so hopefully today will be better.
We saw that obviously during these 6 races that there was a track configuration changed. You raced in the anti-clockwise direction. How was that, and how did you adapt?
Yeah, obviously 3 different like race configurations. So with pretty much like 3 different challenges. We obviously had to change quite a lot of setups according to the racetracks where we were racing. Obviously, as race drivers, it's a bit difficult, obviously, because you have to adapt to the new racetrack. But you know, in the end, you know, it's the same for everyone. And so we try to have this challenge, you know, sorted out.
Yeah, and you've been making progress as you go along. We've had a couple of questions, Edo, from viewers that are tuning in with us, and it's regarding tonight's race. Obviously, P6 is a good position for the last race. Will you run an aggressive race or a safe race?
It's very difficult, actually. I should not answer. You know, you will see. You know, we will not give like any strategy hints. You know, obviously, like, you know, maybe some other teams, you know, will look into you know, this interview. Informally, you know, you can never really be really aggressive or really careful, let's say, in the first laps. In the first laps, pretty much everyone is having the same strategy, and then you see, you know, how things are developing throughout the race in order to see you know, how you have to react. Yeah.
Are you enjoying Berlin? Do you enjoy the track there?
If I'm enjoying Berlin right now, no. I'll be honest. We had like so far 5 difficult races where we could not really understand why we were missing pace. So today it's going a bit better, and I really hope that we can finally score more important points. That's the goal for today, and I really hope that we can finish on high.
How much hard work has gone into finding a solution to the unknown that you've had?
Oh, a lot of hard work, you can imagine, and obviously, there is a lot of we're all very tired here because it's been 9-10 days that we've been working flat out, trying to sort out our issues. Obviously, we all knew that if we were starting not really on the right foot, it was going to be difficult, to readdress, everything. But let's see if we can do that in the last race.
Edo, I'll let you get back to it. Obviously, I know it's getting to the crucial hour out there in Berlin. So just want to wish you very well for the race and really thank you for taking the time to chat to us.
Thanks to everyone, and thanks for the people that are in Venturi in the office also to follow us. So hopefully we will have a good race. Take care.
Thank you, Edo. Take care. So that was Edoardo Mortara there chatting. Obviously, it's been a challenging 2 weeks, I guess, but they have made progress. They've found some information to the solutions that they needed, which is always great, and it's always fantastic teamwork at the team. Now, I can see that Felipe Massa is standing by also to join us. Felipe, great to see you. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. I really hope you guys well as well. And yeah, we are here preparing the last race of the season. As you can see, a big preparation here in the garage. And really hope we can have a good race because until now was not so easy to have a good result. The race, so many happenings, but concentrate on the last one.
Yeah, there's been a number of challenges that we know about, but how happy are you to be back racing? I know we're in a difficult situation now, circumstances are slightly different, but you happy to be back out on track?
Well, I think that's good for the sport. I mean, that's good for the people, even the people that, I mean, is not really leaving home, but people really can watch the races in the television, and support the races, support the drivers, support the teams, and really have some fun, as well. So I think, all of the people is missing the sport, is missing also to go and watch the races, here together, because we are missing definitely a lot of fans. And I think being race is definitely positive, but being race without the fans is definitely, you cannot compare. I mean, it will never be the same. So I really hope soon all the races, but also all the events will have the fans back.
I think everyone really wants to see that, don't they? You miss the fans. I mean, you have a massive fan base, Felipe. I hope I'm not embarrassing you by saying that, but obviously any event we go to, people want to see you and chat to you, and you take so much time to talk to them. How important is that to you?
It's very important, for sure. You can see also in my results, I'm not having the right results because I'm missing the fans. So definitely, I mean, a part of that is really amazing. To have the good support for the people, see that the people wants to be close to you, the people wants to be supporting you in the race, the people wants to have a picture or autograph. I mean, this is really a nice feeling, and definitely we are missing, and I am missing a lot of that.
Well, we've had some of your fans on the comment section, because we're running on this live stream, we're running a comment section for anyone to ask us some questions. I've had Danilo, who wants me to ask you, I mean, I know you've been asked this before, but he's specifically asked this. What's the difference between driving Formula One and Formula E? I mean,
well, it's very different. I mean, definitely. I mean, I all the time I have this answer, like to really, the people is really interesting to see the difference between Formula E and Formula One. I think everything is different. Starting with the car, that we have an electrical car, the behavior of the car is completely different. Formula E has a car with not a lot of downforce, road tires. Formula One has a car with a combustion engine, but I mean, massive downforce, really big tires, massive grip. Racing the tracks, completely different tracks. We're racing only in the city tracks, and Formula One race maybe a couple of times in the season, with on the city tracks. So the mentality is completely different. The way of the racing is completely different. I mean, what you have to do in the car in the Formula E to save energy, to to race a lot more like calculating, you know, the car, the energy, and everything else. And Formula One is a lot more sprint. I mean, you pushing every lap, and this is the big difference, you know, between one category and the other one.
I know, Felipe, that you've got to now leave us and head off, but just a final question to you. How would you like to see the race go tonight, the final one of the season?
I like to see me finish in the better position, you know, scoring some good points. No issues at all in the race. So this is definitely what I'm looking forward. And then let's see if we can have the last one in the good way.
Felipe, thank you so much. That was really good to hear from you. We certainly wish you very, very well for the final race over in Berlin. So you take care and have a great race.
Thank you, everybody, and really support us in this race. And we will do everything we can in the best way inside the car. So thank you.
Thank you, Felipe. So we haven't finished with drivers just yet because we've got time to meet another member of the team. Norman Nato is the official reserve driver for the team, and we caught up with him earlier in the week at the team base over in Monaco.
Okay. Because I'm trying to chill a bit. Norman Nato, reserve driver for... To be honest, in French, it's Nato. You can say both. I'm Norman Nato, reserve driver for ROKiT Venturi Racing. During race weekend, my role as a reserve driver, it's either to be on the racetrack or to stay at the workshop and be in the simulator. For example, if the engineers before the session or just after or even during needs to try something new on the car, that's what we are trying in the simulator. We give them the information and then they decide if they put it on the car or not. To be honest, to be a reserve driver is quite an important role. First of all, in Formula E, as I say, you're working a lot in the simulator. So my job is to prepare everything for the driver and to try things before they do sometimes as well. So it's quite an important role, and especially during race weekend or before, mentally you have to be ready like if you will race, in fact, because imagine something happened for one of the two drivers. You have to be ready, even if it's last minute call, you have to be ready mentally and physically to jump in the car. So you have to be aware of the procedure, of everything. So that's why I do the preparation before race weekend with the team, just in case if they need me at the last minute, I'm ready to go. Well, first of all, you're kind of happy, let's say, because you don't get really a lot of opportunity to jump in the car. So when you get an opportunity, you have to optimize it, and I say be ready for it. And before Berlin, I felt ready. As I say, I'm always ready before race week, and if they need me, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to jump in the car. So if the team need me at any time, I'm ready to jump in. But for sure, it's the excitement, but also a bit of stress, I would say, because I never raced in Formula E yet, and it's okay, there is a lot to discover. You want to do a good job, you want to do good for the team. So yeah, for sure, there's a bit of stress, but excitation and happiness as well. Well, to be honest, it's quite an exciting format. 6 races, different layout. It's going to be quite interesting for the driver, for the team as well, because, for example, if you're missing the first day, you still have an opportunity the next day to work on what didn't really work the previous day and try to make a better job. So I'm expecting a really exciting end of the championship. Being part of the Venturi family, for me, it's, I would say, the atmosphere in general. We are such a team, a family, I would say. We're going to play paddle, we're going to play pétanque, this kind of thing. So it's like a friends and working at the same time. So it's just the perfect way for me to work and enjoy what we are doing.
So now we know how to pronounce his name. That's a great insight there from Norman. Now let's have another chat with another member of the team. We want to talk to as many people as we can. And our simulator engineer, Vito Jog, joins us. Vito, I'll tell you what, you introduce yourself and tell us about your role here at ROKiT Venturi Racing.
Hi, I am Vito Sant. I am in charge of Venturi Simulator. I really love Formula E Championship because it's one of the big open air laboratory, and with the new technology, it's really great to be part of this championship now. And I ended up with Venturi because it's a great team, it's going up, and this is a great place to start my career. During the race event, we have a small remote team, and we work from here at Monaco at our workshop, and we help our trackside team to provide some performance analysis, but also to run our driving in the loop simulator with Norman Nato. For example, right now we are going to test some calibration for the race, and we hope that it will be helpful for the trackside team.
So just a quick apology to you all for anyone watching live. Obviously, our video is slightly lagging a little bit, so just bear with us. It's part and parcel of what we're doing. But next question really is, what's the best part of your job? It was really interesting hearing what your role is, but what's the best part of your job?
The best thing in my job is basically to work on the simulator, because in Formula E, the simulator, it's equipped with the real component of the car. The real chassis loom, but also the VCU, basically the brain of the car. And from here, from our control room, we can change parameter in live, and we can test whatever you want, validate something here, and take it for the track. So it's really powerful. Moreover, we can do whatever we want. We have no limitation on hours, on mileage, so it's something very powerful. And before the race event, we have the drivers who come here, we practice with him, we can discuss about the new things. So it's really great to have also the communication between all the engineers of the team, but also with the drivers. So it's one of the best things in my job.
So that's the best part, but I suppose I have to ask you now, what's the hardest part of your job?
The hardest things to do during a race weekend is to provide good but also quick analysis on what we see here from the remote. But also in the other side, we have all the topic in our driving in the loop simulator, so we have to provide also a result, good result for all the trackside team. There is not that much pressure that in trackside, but there is also pressure here because we have to be quick on what we do. But one other thing is also we have less people here, so we have to cover more topics and help the team as much as possible.
And how would you describe the season so far?
The season 6, it's not as we expected, but to be honest, we have a lot of new tools. We have a great team. I am pretty sure that we will increase our level for the next season. We are also new headquarters here, the new simulator also. So we have a lot of new topics that we will put together, and I'm pretty sure that we will use everything and we will go better for the next season.
Thank you, Vito. And any message for the team?
I wish all the best to my team for the really last race of the season 6, and I would say just thank you to all of our partners, and thank you for your support, and we will be strong for the next season.
So that's it from the team for now as they get ready for the final race of the season here in Berlin. Now, if you want to watch the race, here's how you can do it. In Germany, the coverage will be on Eurosport. In France, it's Canal Plus and Eurosport. And in the UK, you can catch the race on the BBC iPlayer. And if you're in America, then it's Fox Sports. So that only leaves me to wish the team a fantastic race. I'm sure you'll join me in saying the best of luck to them this evening. They've had a tough challenge, certainly in Berlin, but they always come out fighting. A huge thanks to Susie, Felipe and Edo and all the team. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
We are a small but fiercely competitive team. Everybody has their role to play in order for us to be successful.
There is a very, very good atmosphere within the team. And it feels more like a family.
Since I arrived, it's unbelievable to see how much the team grows. You don't win the race, only the drivers.
We showed a lot of promise in season 5. We got our first victory.
Edoardo Mortara wins on the streets of Hong Kong.
Hey, congrats guys.
Good job, mate.
With ROKiT on board, with our Mercedes-Benz powertrain, there's so much more potential to be achieved. For us, it's about capitalising, it's about making sure that we get points every weekend. We're all very passionate about what we do, and we love to go racing, and we all absolutely believe that together we can achieve success.